Hello, welcome to the Daily Bible Podcast. My name is William Hemsworth. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Hope you got to spend some time with family, learn some awesome things at church that we could apply to our daily lives. Well, today on the Daily Bible, we continue on in Matthew chapter 17, and we're going to look at verses 14 through 16 today. So again, Matthew chapter 17, verses 14 through 16 say, "And when they came to the crowd, a man came up to him, and kneeling before him said, 'Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is an epileptic, and he suffers terribly. For often he falls into the fire, and often into the water. And I brought him to your disciples, and they could not heal him.'" So this event here happens after the transfiguration. And Jesus and his disciples are coming to a crowd, and a man comes before Jesus, kneels, kind of prostrates himself before Jesus, and pleas, he intercedes for the healing of his son who has epilepsy. And that's the name of the story in Matthew's Gospel. It's Jesus cures an epileptic boy. Pretty straightforward there. So in verse 16 we see that he had brought the boy to Jesus' disciples, but they weren't able to help. And the thing about that is, these were 9 disciples, because remember, on the mountain of the mountain during the transfiguration, Jesus' inner circle, Peter, James, and John, were up on the mountain with him. So there were only 9 disciples left. So this man brought his son to those 9 disciples, and they weren't able to help. So that's a little bit clarification there when Matthew writes about how the man brought the boy to Jesus' disciples. There were only 9 of them there at that point in time. Now obviously there's more to the story. There's a few more verses that cover this event. Let's talk about the man. I mean, as a parent, and I'm sure a lot of you could relate, other parents out there, even if you're not a parent, you could relate. You want the best for your child. You don't want your child to suffer. You don't want your child to feel any pain, any anguish. You want them to be children, just to go through life and pain-free and just be children. I can't imagine what this man was going through. During his epileptic seizures, I mean, the boy was throwing himself in fire, water. I mean, obviously not doing it on purpose, but that's what was happening, and it's a very scary situation. What we can learn from these verses here are the importance of interceding on behalf of others. You see, no matter what it is, we may think it's some small, trivial matter. We are God's children. We are God's children. We have, through Christ, that mediator we could always go to. You see, no matter what it is, we could be sick, we could be dealing with anxiety, we could just be having a bad day in general, and say, "Lord, I fall before your feet, help me through this. Help me through this." So I think that's something that we could learn from these verses today. We're going to get further on into the story. There's a little bit more detail to the story itself. Like I said, for the most part, I try to keep these shows covering no more than 3 verses per day if I could help it. Sometimes it's not the case, but let's not be afraid to go before the Lord in prayer. Let's not be afraid to ask for help for those things that are bothering us, and help for those things that our friends, family, our children, etc. may be going through as well. So thank you for joining me on this episode of the Daily Bible Podcast. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye. God bless you.